Yeah, I think it's a weird place for Oregon fans. At least this is my sense. Maybe wrong, but it just feels like it's kind of like a pinch yourself type of situation where
there's not a lot of.
it's hard to believe. Like they're 13-0.
Yeah.
They won the Big Ten in the first year.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't have a weakness.
No.
There's no other team that truly scares you.
You have the best quarterback by far in the tournament.
The whole thing is teed up. There's no must-avoid team.
Nope. You should win.
It's just a weird place to be because Oregon is just not used to this.
It's the only time I've ever said this in the 20 years that we've been doing this, and I don't think anyone's ever said it in the history of the Oregon program. There's no reason that they should not win a national championship. They are the best team in football. They've been the best team in football, and it's laid out for them. And I don't want to hear anything about the path of the schedule because it's not any more daunting than anyone else that's gone through this. You're better than the teams that you're playing. It's just why I think they should win. If they don't, that's where I said I'll put my finger, not my fingers, the defense. If there was one thing about it that I question, and I don't think it's bad, but I look at their schedule like most team schedules. It's not real challenging. I mean, they just didn't play a lot of good teams, but they played the teams that they played that got into the playoff. There was 3 games on their schedule against teams that were really quality opponents. And Boise State scored 34 against you and ran wild and probably should have had you. Special teams bailed your ass out. And you played Ohio State, and Ohio State scored 31 on you and ran up and down the field on you. And you escaped that one by the hair of your chinny chin chin at home, one of the toughest places to play, but you found a way. You know, they got the PI call and you know, you escaped with that one. And then you played against Penn State, which we didn't think shows up in big games. And I don't think Penn State's offense is necessarily great. I mean, they got Ty Warren and they ran the ball real well against you. But, I mean, they ran for 300 yards and scored 37 and were driving at the end to at least tie that game. And you made a phenomenal play. So I'll give the defense credit for that. But, and of course, the interception that was basically a pick six. But when I look at the 3 teams that you've played and you gave up 37, 31, and 34, and those games, at least 2 of them were razor thin. Another one was close-ish. If you want to say what stops you, it's that. Because you get into a shootout, one play goes the other way. You don't get a special teams play. You don't get the PI call. Or maybe they do call PI on Reed, who made the phenomenal interception but was grabbing the defender by the neckline. 50-50 call, just like the Ohio State one, and they both went your way. One of those calls goes the other way, and that's all it takes to lose a game like that. And when you lose a game like that in the playoff, then you don't win. It takes a lot of good fortune and luck, and that would be the thing that would scare me is I don't know in the biggest moments if your defense is as stout as we thought it was.
Yeah, but I don't know that there is one that is.
No, probably not.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like this is college football now. Like I was just looking at the three defenses that we respect the most are Texas, Tennessee, and Georgia.
Yeah,
that are in this tournament.
Yeah,
Georgia put up. Let's see. They played Tennessee and they put up 31 on them.
Yeah,
they put up 30 on Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Georgia's offense has been kind of hit and miss this year.
Absolutely.
Right. So
Oregon has better offense than Georgia does.
Okay, so they put up. I feel, in other words, what I'm saying is, you can go through these schedules. Like Tennessee, they gave up. Like I said, they gave up 31 to Georgia. I'm trying to see the best defense that they played besides Georgia. Kind of hard to tell. Yeah, like Texas 31 on Michigan. That's a good defense. You know, yeah. I'm just saying that. Like I think when the elite teams meet, it's the games in the 30s.
Sure.
That's just kind of college football now.
Yeah.
It's really hard to stop these offenses. And that's where I go back to, I think the defense is good enough. I think they have playmakers.
Absolutely.
Just guys that can step. I mean, you can give up 40, but you make 2 big plays on the last drive, you might win because no one can stop their offense.
Yeah.
Their offense is so damn good, dude. Dylan Gabriel, Jordan James, all those receivers, I don't see anybody stopping him. I trust Gabriel and I trust Lanning. But what I'm getting at is, like this text says, I can't put my finger on it as a Duck fan, but I just can't mentally get there. We always blow it, no matter the sport, no matter the year. I think there's a lot of that. There's a lot of this can't be real. Like this is not going to happen. But
maybe because I'm not a Duck fan, I don't have that because I can get there. I can't. I can't look at any other team. Like if I'm laying this out and I say who wins a national championship, there's not another team that I could sit there in good faith and say I like this team better than I do Oregon getting through. I just can't, because for all I just got done, talking about Oregon. You brought it up. It's a great point. We talked about Ohio State. Ohio State was supposed to have this vaunted defense, right? We talked about that this was one of the best Ohio State defenses ever, and all these draft picks on it. Well, Oregon did what? Oregon went up and down the field on them, did whatever they wanted.
34 on them.
32.
32, 45 on Penn State.
Yeah,
That's supposed to be a really good defense.
yeah. So
what's the other best defense that they played? I mean, that's what I mean. Like, the elite teams score against good defenses.
yeah, the only one that really held Oregon in check, and you can say that was just 8 weeks in a row. It was a tough environment, but it was Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Wisconsin,
and they played great.
Wisconsin held them to 17 and played with their hair on fire.
And those games happen, but I just mean when the elite meets the elite.
And you had no Tez in that game, which makes a difference.
Yes, it does.
And I thought their defense was really good.
And we saw that because with no Tez, you lose to Penn State. You do. Penn State beats you without Tez.
So, and maybe that's just it. It's health. If one of your big guys gets nicked up offensively, that's a huge problem.
And that
goes for everybody.
And that goes for everyone, except for, we'll find out, because Georgia's not going to have Carson back. So we'll see if Georgia can, and this is why I don't really take Georgia seriously. No offense, but this Georgia team isn't that Ohio State team did it with Cardell Jones. I just don't. I've seen Georgia play enough times this year where
they're not that loaded everywhere else.
No. I don't know if you can have a team like that anymore. With the portal and all that, I just don't know if we have that sort of ability to assemble these teams. But you're right, health, right? Like if Tez goes down, if Dylan Gabriel goes down, you lose a couple guys on the defensive line. I mean, it's an absolute difference maker.
Well, here's what the poll question looks like right now. The question is, what is holding you back from thinking the Ducks win it all? 33% say nothing, but 26% say everything. 21% Georgia, and then just 20% say the defense.
Yeah.
So it's kind of split.
Yeah.
There.
No, I get it, but I can't, from a rational standpoint, I can't tell you that there's a better team than Oregon, because I don't believe that there is.
Well, I think most people know that and agree with that. It's just,
it's hard.
It's a weird feeling.
When you haven't got there, it's hard to get there.
Yeah.
Because even the 2 times you've been there before against Auburn and Ohio State, you were the underdog. And, you may be the underdog from Vegas if you play Texas or Ohio State again, but I don't know how anyone could say this team's an underdog.